And we're recording. All right.
Hey.
So, to the people who are going to watch this later, welcome to another edition of Chris Theodat podcast if you listen on audio. And I don't have a name for this segment on YouTube. I'll figure out a name for this at some point in time. But today I'm here with my two homies, Lens One and Ariel Chanel. You want to get yourselves, big yourselves up, introduce yourselves, say what up.
What up, y'all? Lens One. That's it.
That's it, Lawrence.
I'm only one person.
All right. Well, Ariel.
I'm Ariel Chanel. Chanel is not my last name, but it's what I go by.
Right.
And I'm excited to be here with my homie Chris.
Whoop, whoop. So, before I started recording, we talking about this Black Panther.
Yeah.
Yo, how does it already have 100% Rotten Tomato score?
Yo, they're wilding. You know what? I low-key think people are afraid to say something bad.
Yo, that's one of those, like, you have to like it. I think you ain't black.
I think especially the non-black critics I think they're low-key afraid of Black Twitter coming at them.
Yeah.
So
low-key. I think they're high-key afraid of Black Twitter coming at them.
Yeah. Yo, actually, there was this group talking about they were gonna try to bomb the school on purpose because they're tired of seeing black people do well. They were it was some group that was they're like some Rotten Tomato gang.
Wow.
they legit I heard on the Breakfast Club or something. They were we're tired of seeing non-whites on the screen. There was a time where we ran everything and we were so at Rotten Tomatoes, it got so crazy. Rotten Tomatoes had to put out a press release saying, listen, we don't condone any groups intentionally, causing mischief on these scores or whatever. Something stupid.
There's a group that was Christians against Black Panther or something like that I saw on Facebook.
I'd love to read those posts.
What?
Ain't safe for real.
Yeah. I would love to read those posts. What is the problem? Why can't people have things?
No.
Listen, it all started back in the mid-'80s when people started telling everyone that they could be anything that they wanted to be and they can do anything that they wanted to do. That's a lie.
That's a fact.
That is a lie. You know what I'm saying? When they started giving everybody trophies for participation.
The participation awards.
You know what I'm saying? And started telling everyone that, you know what I'm saying, basically just stop excelling. Just stop being great. Just be there, and you're worth whatever you want. That's not true.
But I feel that's been accelerated over these past I'll say 10 years.
Yeah, but that's why I say the mid '80s because that's kind of where I started hearing it. Just being in school, you know what I'm saying, and bullying is wrong. You know what I'm saying, bullying is bad. But there is when there's a benefit to being taught how to handle a bully properly as opposed to, just expecting someone else to save you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying you have to fight back, but you know what I'm saying, you could fight back if they're physically attacking you. You know what I'm saying? You can clown them, if they're trying to clown you. It's a strength thing. You know what I'm saying? You build strength in that way. But people around that time when I was in elementary school is when I started hearing a lot of weird stuff. And it did make sense to me back then, and it just continued to grow. And everybody's, you know, it's like the it's what the saying that like non-racists like to say, like, I don't see color. It's like, fam, that's not a good thing. Like, see color, but just, you know, handle it properly. You know what I'm saying? Like, understand the truth of a situation and handle it properly. Don't act like it's not a thing and expect that to be, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's all good.
No, I think a lot of it is. No, go ahead.
It also is not helpful because it's not teaching people how to be able to handle adversity well.
Right.
So it's telling people like we're all supposed to go through life with no problems ever.
Right.
Yeah. And so when that's the notion, like everyone should live this life that's always up in the clouds, when people actually have actual adversity, they don't know what to do with themselves.
Right.
And so it's sending them into super deep depressions that they don't need to be in, or, you know, like super deep, like suicidal, you know, like spouts, because they feel, well, I must be the only one going through this because nobody in life goes through this.
Right.
And that's not true. They're just not taught how to handle it the right way.
No, I agree. And I think that, like, you know, I saw a real change. I think it was after like September 11th when everybody just got real scared.
Yeah.
Like, that's true.
People just got like, because I mean, you know, and people are still scared, and they just like, because there's for me, like, I hear what you're saying about the 80s, but there's for me, like, I just remember it distinctly. There's a, you know, pre and a post 9/11 like situation where like everybody was cool, we was confident, we was chilling, you know. All right, people would get bullied, but you would, in fact, you would fight back, you would deal with it, you would handle it, and it went from that to like, you know, go tell somebody, go ask for this, go do like, go ask, go be a victim, go be like, it just got weird.
Yeah, well, the 9/11 brought a whole new it woke a lot of people up to a reality that we can get it too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, we've had plenty of terrorist attacks, like homegrown terrorist attacks, but you know, we all know that when they're homegrown, they're kind of brushed under the rug.
Right.
Like every war outside of the Civil War or the Revolutionary War, like every war that we've been a part of has been in someone else's country. You know what I'm saying? We always bring the fight to them. You know, and this is like, so this basically what 9/11 was low key what the Vietnam vets had to deal with the Viet Congs and their different kind of battle style, but it was brought here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I say it like that because the Viet Congs weren't fighting the same way that other countries were fighting. Like they were on some hiding in bushes. You know what I'm saying? They was on some, you know, hiding up in the trees. Like you had no idea where they were coming from. Right. They weren't coming through, you know, with the battalions, like walking up with their guns. Like they had some stuff ready for you, you know.
So you mean it wasn't dilly dilly?
It was not dilly dilly at all.
It was no
dilly was not there.
Dilly was not there.
There was no dilly to be found that day.
There was no dilly.
And then here you go. You know, everyone's chilling in America. Like, you know, I'm sure we all can remember exactly what we were doing the day we found out about, you know, the towers or whatever. Mm-hmm. But, you know, everyone's chilling. And then all of a sudden it's boom, like, wait. So these planes, the plane wasn't an accident? Like, that was a legit attack?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, they brought it here? Oh, we can get it too. We're not safe? You know what I'm saying? And then that's when, I think that's that thing that you were talking about, like, everyone just started tripping a little bit more. They started, you know, being a little bit more different to the whole situation.
Yeah, no, like, people were, like, legit different. Like, you know, it's one of those, like, it's one of those, like, markers in time. Like, it's a very distinct time where you remember, like, change, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Shoot, I remember because I was in my freshman year of college, and one of my best friends at the time was he still is he's from Saudi Arabia. And he's from the same, I can't remember if he called it a village or a town, but he's basically from the same place that Osama bin Laden was from.
Wow.
Like he knew his family. You know what I'm saying? And to see how other people reacted towards him or how other people dealt with him before that and then immediately after was crazy to watch, because and he's not a dark skinned Middle Eastern. He's like if he really wanted to, he could pass for something else. Like he probably could have passed for like Greek or something like that. But you know what I'm saying? But with all respect due, like he was not going to disrespect his family like that. And I remember some white girls like telling him one time, or they told me to tell him that he should shave his beard because he was really just starting to grow it. Right. And it was like, he was like, for him to be safe, like he should probably shave it. And he was like, no, like that's not going to happen. And like he was legit scared, because a lot of people were kind of wilding out towards Middle Easterns during that time. So especially when he would leave campus, like he would be legit like nervous. But like I said, he was also proud, and he wasn't gonna, disrespect his family, disrespect his line, and shave and not be who he was. But yeah, being able to witness firsthand that happening to someone else as opposed to another instance where that's happening to a black person. You know what I'm saying? But it being like another race, you know what I'm saying? It was very interesting to see, and I'm glad, I'm glad nothing major happened to him. It's still cool to this day.
Right.
Not as close, but it's still my boy. So I'm glad it all worked out.
So that's another point, right? All right. So it's that point where, like you said, before 9/11 and after 9/11, people started getting scared and like people started getting real jumpy. But like for black people, was there like a major transition?
Nah.
We've been nervous.
Yeah, dog. We've been getting checked randomly.
Yep.
We've been getting picked, for the strip search at the airport.
Yep.
Before everyone else knew it was a thing.
Right.
I think if anything, there wasn't a time like then, like when 9/11 happened or anything like that, that really changed anything for us. But I think now, within the last, I would say, how many years? Probably like 10 years now. 5. Yeah, like 5 years at its like strongest. Actually, no, I'll go back and say 10, like 9, 10. Because with the change in presidency and with Obama coming into office, that changed some stuff.
That did.
And it brought out like, we're going to show you who you all still are. Like, that's the way I saw it. So even though the president was black, it was like, we're going to remind you all who you are to us, which is still going on even strong, which is why we have the president that we have. It's like, we're going to remind you who runs this. And so even though it was stuff that was always happening, it was that like, wait a minute, y'all are getting a little bit too close now. We about to try to pull y'all back.
Yeah, that was another one of those situations where it's like we were really shown. All right, so it's like, we're feeling great. Obama was, You know, everyone, not everyone, but, he won the vote. Inauguration night was dope.
It was so lit.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I even said, like, even his presidency was dope because of the timing of it. Like, the timing of his presidency early on, and the growth of social media, like, he was the perfect president to kind of ride that wave.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because even though, he's an older gentleman still, but he was young enough to understand it, and he had children that could understand it, and he used it. Him and his wife, they both used their platforms on social media very well.
Not as well as
today
Donald Trump,
is way
though.
different. Trumpito is wilding on a whole nother level. He's showing you how to get the fullest out of Twitter alone. You know what I'm saying? He's like, oh, we get more characters, more heat for everybody.
Yo, when they deal with characters, I was like, man.
Yo. No. I'm still trying to figure out what Kavifi is. I was thinking about that earlier today. I was like, I need to figure out what that word actually is. But but along with that whole social media thing, it opened the world up to, like, us really seeing how everything was still kind of the same. Like,
well, you know what I think happened? Oh, you know what I know happened? I bet we fell asleep during Obama, and it wasn't like a fall asleep as in we didn't know that there were issues. We got comfortable because we had a brother in the White House. We didn't really ask him to do nothing. Like, think about it. Like, we didn't really ask him to do anything notable for our community. Like, we was chilling because he was there. Like, oh, he's there, he's working on stuff, but we ain't putting no, like, demand on him. Like, now we need this, brother.
Now, what do you think? What do you think that demand could have been?
Any number of things, like better focus on, like, funding. I know Michelle Obama had that school lunch initiative and all that stuff. Like, it was just, all the things that we're like, yo, we still don't have, that we're for some reason discovering we ain't got it, like, now.
Yeah.
We ain't asked for it when he was in office.
Yeah, and the thing about that, though, is...
There wasn't no rallies.
Like, the thing about that, though, that I realized when he was in office is, it's like, okay, we got our first black president. He's in office, and it's dope. It's dope to see. You know what I'm saying? But we still had everyone else. We still had the same old people in Congress, same old people in the Senate, same old people, as governors, same old people as mayors. You know what I'm saying? Like, Boston alone, up until a couple years ago, Mayor Menino was our mayor for, like, what, 20 years?
Right.
22 years? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hyde Park had the same senator since Hyde Park was Hyde Park.
Is that Scott?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the fact, like, and that's what I'm saying, like, it's the fact that it's, and yeah, so I guess in a sense I can agree with you in that we got comfortable. It's like, yeah, we didn't put any demands on him, but we shouldn't have had to put demands on him if we were doing what we were supposed to do locally and put the demands on the local people.
No, you're right. I think they go hand in hand.
Yeah, they do.
Like, the thing is too, right? Like, right. And again, we would still sleep. Like, we were asleep locally, we were asleep federally. Like, granted, what we need to do locally, like, we do need to, like, take over stuff locally and say, all right, you know what? I live here. This is going to work for me while I'm living here. Period. But on a federal level, it's a bunch of us's all over the place that are trying to make it work in their own, in their own neighborhood, in their own, city and whatever, that have to come together and say, while we're doing it in our own cities, what are we going to do with the country? Because they still screwing us up in some really major that are federal.
Yeah. And I think that's what really woke us up during Obama's presidency was the fact that we realized we was asleep on our local level. Like, especially once he left, because it's like, oh, wait, who's going to fight for us?
Right.
Oh,
Or even
okay,
that.
so...
Or with him, did anything change? Like, not like I'm an Obama fan, but what changed?
Well, nothing for Massachusetts, because what he did, we already had in place. So that's that.
Legit, like, and so and now we're looking at these next 4 years with Trumpito. Like, what are we going to change? Like, what are we going to do?
Jesus.
Yeah, like that's the tough one there. Like, all right, so this is year 2 for him, right?
Yes.
So this should be an important year for the Senate and all that.
It's midterm election year.
Yeah.
So we have to do what we can do to, find the people that we can trust that are running for these different offices and just push them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Do whatever we can to push them. Being someone that, over the past year or so has been getting more involved in like the community and, trying to affect change. And I'm pretty sure Ariel can agree with me on this because, we were kind of working hand in hand with that. Like, it really shows the importance of having, proper representation on every level. You know what I'm saying? Like she just mentioned, Representative Scotcha, who he's our senator.
Yeah.
Ariel?
Yeah.
Like, we were just in a town hall meeting with him. Well, it wasn't like a town hall meeting, but it was a meeting about a development, and he was there. And like, as old as this dude is, like, he was really acting like a child on some no, we're not having this, we're not doing this, and it's like you can act like that because he's had no competition.
Right.
Yeah.
But for mad long, I don't even know how long he's been in there because I'm just being educated on the different things that go on. Like, even our councilman, he hasn't had any competition, over the past few years. So it's like, if they're not representing what we think that what we need, because they don't, the both of them definitely do not. Like, we have to find someone that can do that and push them.
And the problem is, with what Lawrence is saying, especially for us in Hyde Park, a lot of people don't know how to get in the door. Like, a lot of people always think that it's a sealed deal. Like, well, these are the people that people, want, but it's really just certain people out barking louder than their bite to try to get people scared not to speak up.
And pay for a lot of microphones for their bark. Yeah.
Yep. Those days are definitely over. And that's what it is because there are people who I've talked to who on certain levels we don't agree with stuff. Hashtag putting Gentrify Hyde Park on a board, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, that's a whole nother story. But when I talked to this person, they were like, yo, we need to get Scotcha out of here. And I was shocked. I was like, really? You don't like Scotcha either? So it's like, if there's people who may not agree with everything, who all don't seem to agree with this one person, why is he in office for like pushing 50 years?
He's been in office for 50 years?
I believe so. I believe he's like 96, man. Like,
I mean, he looks
wild.
But I'm just saying, like, 50 years.
I mean, think about it. Have you have you known of any other senator for Hyde Park other than Scotcha? And how old are you?
No, and that's the
Exactly.
thing. That's the thing. Like I said, like I'm really just now being educated. I guess he's been in there for so long. I guess I never knew that we had a separate one.
Yeah.
But you know what though, and that's the thing with like politics, like people, like, to be honest, the most important seats like don't have term limits.
Mm-hmm.
Very true.
You know what I mean? Like, yo, all right, the president every 4 years, great, and then after 2 terms, he can't be president no more. But everyone else can run for as long as they feel like running, with no like, yo, you shouldn't be in the same seat for 40 years. You don't like everything has changed. Just you like, yo, there wasn't no computers when Scotcha got on.
Yo, he probably still got, what was that, a lithograph?
Yeah.
I don't
in his office.
I don't think he uses computers.
Legit.
He can't do a mad big like presentation all on paper just to say he wasn't cool.
To the office and calling her sweetheart.
Yo, legit.
Telling her to take down dictation in shorthand.
Okay. Like, to him, technology is a transparency board.
Oh my Lord. Oh my Jesus.
What do they call the guy? The transparency sheets?
Yeah, the transparent the little plastic sheets you write on.
But you put it on the what's the thing? The projector thing?
Projector, yep. Like that's the last upgrade he got.
That's crazy.
But like legit, and even with Mayor Menino, like if he wasn't going to like pass, he'd have still been there.
Oh yeah,
probably.
And granted, he wasn't doing a bad job, but good Lord, like, and that's the thing too. It's one of those things where it's like one of those. What's that saying? The devil you know is better than the devil you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we out here picking devils?
I was just looking at a commercial that said that. It was like, I don't understand that quote. Why do we have to go with any devil? And I was like, that is so true.
Seriously. That's why when they were like, you picked the lesser of 2 evils. Why am I picking evil?
Yep.
Yeah.
Do I have to? Is this a thing that I have to do?
Like it was like every time I heard that statement, it like irked me. I'm like, yo, why can't we get somebody good?
Yeah. So it's like you said with Menino, he wasn't necessarily doing a bad job, but he also wasn't really providing us with a lot of opportunities as well.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it was
# Chick-fil-A, never forget.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
facts.
Like,
and they still coming.
Like keeping businesses like Wendy's, for instance, or Chick-fil-A, or other things like that away from the city for so long. Those are jobs. You know what I'm saying? Like granted, they may not be the best best food opportunities for us to have, but they were still jobs. You know what I'm saying? Keeping Verizon, Fios, out of the city for so long, because they wanted us to pay whatever. Like, it's like, come on, like, if we're Boston, we're supposed to be like number 1 in education and technology and all this stuff.
Right.
And you're keeping us from, you know what I'm saying? You're keeping us in the dark.
Yeah.
Now granted, he fixed up some parks. He fixed up a lot of streets. You know what I'm saying? Hyde Park stayed shoveled out.
I was like, he fixed up Hyde Park.
Yeah.
Hyde Park was balling.
Yeah, Hyde Park was straight. But I'm saying, like, but other parts of the city, like, he did some stuff. You know what I'm saying?
His successor did the rest, because I fell on daggone Bishop Joel Smith Way because that street was so janky.
Wow.
Well, yeah.
That didn't get fixed until Walsh became mayor.
That was like last year.
He did the sidewalk project.
Got it. Yeah, well, I mean, it's just, I think it's weird that, like, to even have conversations like this about politicians, about people who are supposed to be representing us. I think it's weird. Like, is it possible to be confident in the person who represents you? And if so, where's that person?
I think it all goes back to what Lawrence was saying before, and it's about you know, these time limits that need to be put on people.
Good Lord.
Because if you have somebody who's been uncontested for years, who feels that their seat is theirs, they're going to believe that the power is theirs to do whatever they want. And even if the people say, this is what we want, they're not going to listen because they're going to say, who's coming for me? Because that's the truth. Because we're not putting the pressure on them. But as the people, we're supposed to say, hey, these are the things we asked you to do. This is what you've done and this is what you haven't done. So it looks like you're batting an average of such and such. That's not good enough for us. We're going to replace you.
Yeah. But then the problem is like, okay, so I think I wanted to talk about like football tonight, and we're going. Yeah. But all right, so like that goes into like a funding question, because the problem is the person who wins is the person who has the loudest voice, and the loudest voice means who has the deepest pockets. So it don't matter how good you are, you're not gonna go up against someone that has companies secretly funneling money into their campaign, or not secretly funneling money into their campaign.
Yeah. But I think since we're talking on a more local level, I think social media has changed the way that really works in the fact that you can, if you know how to use social media properly, and this is just me speaking as a marketer, like a social media marketer, right?
Right.
If you know how to use it properly, for free or for very little money, you can reach enough people to where you can start to generate, the that buzz that you need, where people will start, giving you, more funds to do more things. You know what I'm saying? Use a little bit of money that you have to handle the social media side of things. When those people start giving you money to fund your campaign, you use that for the people that aren't on social media. You know what I'm saying? You get those billboards, you get those TV ads, you get, you know what I'm saying? Right. You get those things, and not just the boards that people put on their lawns. You know what I'm saying? Because that's really just, people raising their hand and saying like, well, I'm with this guy, you're with that guy. But, using it to really get your message out there off of social media while the social media stuff is still running and doing its thing. Because you have to hit it on both sides, or else you're going to end up missing people.
Right. So keep this right. So I took last semester. I took a American government course. It opened my eyes to a lot. I was just like, wow, this is great. But like the professor, older woman from she's from Plymouth, and she was like, yo, in Plymouth, the median age is like 60.
Yeah.
Okay. So people that age, they don't care about social media. All they got to do all day is sit and vote. Like that's what they do. They just they sit and they complain about stuff, and then they go vote, and then that's just that's how they roll.
Yeah.
They might not come out of their house to the next election. You know what I mean? Like it's just what they have. So it's and some of the higher percentage of voters are older people.
Sadly.
Yeah, people our age, whether we like it or not, we not voting like that.
Yeah, that's the sad truth. Anyway. Granted, we can really only speak about Hyde Park because that's where we live. Right. But since being I don't even know if I told you this before, but since being a part of certain things and really looking at the demographics, I found out now Hyde Park. Let me ask you this: if I was to ask you what the demographics for Hyde Park were mostly like, what would you say?
I would say so because I kind of not know it, but I've seen it. Anything So Truman Parkway is like the bridge. So like
Yes, the line.
onto the line. So on one side of Truman Parkway, it's all white and Caucasian and little higher class. On the other side is like everyone else. So that's what I would say to that.
Yeah. Well, one side of Truman Parkway is all Milton. It actually goes back and forth like 5 times. So,
and that's the funny part because you don't even know where you're at until you're like you see a different color sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But most people, when we think of Hyde Park, we think of the people that live on that side.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and older people that are like the people in Plymouth that you mentioned, that they may not leave their house until it's time to vote again. You know what I'm saying? But when I looked at it, I looked at the actual research, come to find out, the demographics for Hyde Park looks more like me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to say it's like 70-something% people of color. The median age is like 34 to 36, mostly male.
Yeah, but then the people who extend their voice politically don't look like us.
No.
Exactly,
and there's only 25% of them.
Boom.
Only
exactly.
25%.
And that's one of the things that we're kind of faced with now over here is, how do we continue to reach the rest of, the rest of that lion's share? You know what I'm saying? Right. How do we get these people? Because the thing about Hyde Park is a lot of the people that live in Hyde Park don't work in Hyde Park.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like even myself. I mean, I work from home most of the week, and I work in Mattapan, so I'm not too far. But most of my life, even though I've been in Hyde Park my entire life, most of my life was go to Dorchester for school, go to Dorchester for church, go to Roxbury to visit family. You know what I'm saying? I was only in Hyde Park to go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? And that's the case for a lot of people that live here. And so we're more aware of the issues that are going on in Dorchester and Roxbury, as people of color, and we're more likely to participate in things that are going on there because that's where, I want to say where the numbers are way stronger out there, as opposed to, well, let me see what's going on in my town. Right. Like, once we started going to like some of the meetings and neighborhood association meetings and stuff like that, and like you can legitimately count on one hand how many Black people were in a room, like of hundreds of people. That's not a comfortable place to be.
Yeah, no.
You know what I'm saying? Especially when you walk in the room and you see their eyes, you see their eyes looking at you like, yo, what are you doing here? Like,
right, like, oh crap, here they come.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And you hear their comments like, oh, here the gangs are coming. You know what I'm saying? Not as I was walking in the room, but just in other stuff, and you know what I'm saying? And they always want to check people with, like, whenever someone goes to make a comment like, well, where do you live? How long have you lived there? You know what I'm saying? Like, now I can go up and be like, Hyde Park resident 30 years.
Right.
Or 31 years, 32 years. And that's more than most of them have been there.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because some of them been there like 20 years, but it's like they use that intimidation.
They use their status.
Yeah, and like I said, it's not comfortable. So like if I didn't have a purpose for being where I was, I probably wouldn't have gone back myself. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, we got purpose now, so they're gonna see us. They're gonna shoot my name between me and Ariel for a while.
Been in the paper, boy.
For a while, our name was in the paper every week. One of us was in that paper every week for a good 2 months. You know what I'm saying? And for about half that time, it was resist Ariel. Lawrence said this. They're a part of power. Resist power.
Yeah, man.
Yo, it was wild.
So wait, talk about what? Wait, what? What?
Yep. Now, for anybody who is listening to this, who does not know myself or Lawrence,
Yeah.
I mean, I might not be able to speak for Lawrence, you know, because he's over there with that Hulk smash screen in the background. But as for me, I am probably one of the most peaceable people in the world. Like, you know, at least on the surface. But anyways, you know, I live to see peace with my brothers and sisters as best as I can. So the fact that it was like literally like comparing us to like, you know, the negative stuff talked about of the Black Panther Party and all this other kind of stuff, I was like, whoa, like whose feathers I ruffled just by saying, and this is the thing, just by saying, can you please work with us to fix the park next to my house, the park that's been run down for 20 years. We want to make it a park again. Now I'm a bad guy because I want to see a park.
You want progress.
Yeah, exactly. On my side of river, not on the other side, on East River, because that's where we from. We're from the east side. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, that's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's and even all right. So the group. All right. So I guess we got to do a little history lesson now. But so the group that we're a part of is called Power. It's people of Hyde Park wanting equal representation. And it's just and so it's like the demographics that I was talking about earlier, how it's more of us than there are them. It's really the us saying, yo, we're here. You know what I'm saying? We want our voice heard. You know what I'm saying? Which shouldn't be a bad thing. You know, so we have certain people that are, you know, some of our neighbors actually found out that one of them lives so close to me that, you know, if I'm standing on my porch, I could see their house. We could wave at each other. You know what I'm saying?
That's funny.
but they like to act like we're not from Hyde Park, you know? And yeah, like Ariel said, it all started with the playground. It's a playground that, you know, I played at. I played in when I was younger, you know, going over to the Spivey's house, you know, playing with, you know, Ariel's older brother, you know, and it was run down. It was neglected for years.
Right.
And we saw the opportunity to, or some people saw the opportunity to get it cleaned up. You know, we joined in and, you know, we've been kind of pushing for that. And so now you have people of the other demographic talking about, oh, we've been working on that for years. Word?
Right.
Like what kind of work you been doing? Because it's only been a year for us and it's already completely different than it was before.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it's cleaned up. It's at least de-weeded now. You know what I'm saying? Like, we at least have had conversations with, you know, DCR, who owns the land, you know, and they're on board with us because they know we're willing to put in the work to see it get done. You know what I'm saying? And then, I mean, even so, all right, I'm going to say this, Ariel. Even so, to the point, like, we were just blessed we were just blessed with a lot of money, not going to us, but going to help, you know, do what we need to do to clean up the park and transform the park. Like, it's going directly to the transformation. It's not going to us.
Right.
Someone announced it in their church. And now all of a sudden, the other demographics like, well, where did they get that money? How did that happen? We want to have a meeting with them now. Because now it's, we've been working on that, so we should pool our resources and come together. It's like, no. First of all, y'all don't even live over here.
Right.
Yep. And it's not even let's pool our resources. The whole thing is basically, again, like we were saying, like they need to be stopped. Like we got it. Why do they work on that?
It's like we either need to be stopped or we need to be controlled.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
now, mind you,
and you know how I am with that control. Nah, fair.
Yeah. Now, mind you, it's funny. It's funny because when talking about it, like Lauren said, we've been at this for a year and some change now.
Mm-hmm.
And in that time, I can count on like all of my fingers and toes, how many meetings I've had to go to during the day, while everyone else is doing whatever they're doing, either at work or whatever. I'm downtown at DCR meetings, all these other kind of places, talking to these people to get them to come and work on this stuff, seeing people outside. I'm going outside the house just to be able to talk to them like this is what's happening, all these different kind of things, where when 2 years ago, it was hard to get them to come cut the grass. And that was a fight that my parents took up for years on their own, just to get DCR to come once a year to cut the grass in that land, because it was causing snakes, because there's a river behind our house. So we're like, we can't have this. People would come and dump. So my father would literally have to park his car across the park so that people wouldn't go in there and dump. That's a fight that we shouldn't have had to take up, but we did. And so now all of a sudden that we're banding together as a community to say, hey, we want change. It's, well, we've been working on this for years. Please.
That's
Please.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's fun. It's fun. Good time.
Y'all done disrupted their whole planning and all that stuff. Y'all made a mess, huh?
Listen,
Yeah.
I'm glad. There's an old handball wall that's there in the park, and now we have the opportunity to put a mural up. So it's just a matter of figuring out how that's going to look.
Right.
And me as an artist, like I'm into that, and I may even help design the mural.
Dope.
I just don't have any ideas right now. But I'm hoping that, like just the idea of, what I'm saying, the playground, like I said, the playground that we used to play at, and it was one of them old school playgrounds too, like wood and metal.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That thing,
I got knocked across the park by a tire swing when I was little.
By a big tire swing. About tractor trailer, like,
oh shoot,
tire swing. Like that thing was serious.
So the Optimus Prime tire.
Yo,
yeah,
that thing, he flew.
I did. I flew from where
we all wondered,
to the cement.
He was dead for a second.
Yeah.
She got up. Thank you, Jesus. She got up on the third day.
He says, "Rise, Ariel, rise. Come forth, Ariel."
We heard a voice in heaven say, "Talitha Kumi." Nah, but that thing, I'm talking about, like that August heat, them slides, burn your legs.
Yo,
dude, how many people fell off the monkey bars, like right on the asphalt? You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about old school park. You know what I'm saying? So to have seen it back then, see what happened to it, like the neglect that happened to it, and then to potentially see what it can become and have a hand in, in seeing what it can now look like is so dope.
No, that's really good. That's very, very good.
Yeah, and what we've accomplished as a group, and public shout out to Alex, the community organizer, because really if it wasn't for him, none of this would be happening.
Yeah.
But shout out to him and all the work that he does to keep it moving. It's just dope. It's just dope to witness. And we're not gonna let, the other demographic come through and, steal our shine, because they've had it long enough.
Yeah. Well,
let's talk about football.
Man, we gotta wrap up now.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I gotta go to work in the morning.
See? And we got a prayer.
Oh, we got prayer.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Good gracious. So, no, but this is dope though. We're gonna have to do this again.
Yeah. Yeah, this was fun. This was a lot more fun than I thought it was gonna be. Because I don't like being on camera.
So, well, get used to it. So,
yes.
Hey, so thank y'all for coming on. Thank y'all for chopping it up. Thank everyone who
Welcome.
was watching for watching. I'm gonna